Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I knew that'd get your attention. This is a proud moment not only for Patterson, the state of New Jersey, but the United States of America. Because today we're celebrating freedom. We're celebrating at a site where Josiah Huntoon and William Van Rensalier helped people escape from slavery to freedom as a part of the Underground Railroad, which was neither underground nor was it a railroad, but a chain of humanitarians that cared enough to make sure that they would usher individuals safely to freedom. I want to thank the Van Rensalier family. We appreciate the fact that we're preserving history here in the city of Patterson. As a matter of fact, this Freedom Bell, Council President, symbolizes the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, the 15th Amendment, the Emancipation Proclamation, and the end of Reconstruction. But today it's a new beginning for the Freedom Bell that represents what is positive here in Patterson and in the United States of America. And before I introduce our Master of Ceremonies, I'm proud to present a proclamation to a historic treasure that we have here in our city. Our historian, Mr. Jimmy Richardson. Give him a round of applause, Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy. Show him some love, Irma. Give him a hug later. I know we have to social distance, but not with Jimmy. We love Jimmy. Jimmy is one of us. So Jimmy, we acknowledge and appreciate all of your efforts, all that you have done to preserve heritage and history. And the mere fact that you enlighten us every time we are within your presence. And so for that, I hereby declare today Freedom Day in the city of Patterson and proudly present a proclamation to a living legend. That's it, Jimmy, you deserve it. You're going to let me smell the flowers, right? Why do you have to smell your flowers at a funeral? You can't even smell them at a funeral. You're getting your roses today because we appreciate you immensely. Jimmy Richardson, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have another rousing round of applause for Jimmy Richardson. Dr. Rose, you can do better than that, please. I've seen your Bruce Springsteen concerts. He's only been to about 400. Is that a Guinness World Book of Records? Not yet. You knew that, Lorraine. You knew that. He's the boss, though. Forget about Bruce Springsteen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to present to you the gentleman who's going to MC the event this morning. A longtime friend, serves on the Patterson Parking Authority's Board of Commissioners. Just like me, he's a long-suffering Mets fan, Giants fan, all of the above. But he's a proud Pattersonian. Let's give it up for Commissioner Dwayne Cox, President of the Patterson Parking Authority Commission. Come on, louder. There you go, Churchman Elvis.
Good morning and welcome. Good morning. We're so happy you decided to spend your morning. You could have been any place else and chose to be here.
Yes.
I appreciate that. To get this thing started, I'm going to ask for Reverend Maven to come up and do the invocation because we can't do anything until we have that.
First, I greet you on behalf of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, home and Church of Huntoon, from the brothers. Take a moment and bow to our Creator. We invoke the presence of God, our Creator, who created all men to be free. We invoke the presence of our ancestors, those freedom fighters, those led Patterson, creating opportunities for liberty and justice and equality for all people. Grant us your peace and your grace, and we continue to fight for racial equality and liberation of all people. We invite your presence, invoke your presence from this ceremony today, that you may be glorified and the people may be edified. We ask it all in thy name.
At this time, we're getting ready to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and I think it would be just fitting that the whole Huntoon Van Rensalier Underground Railroad Foundation Board come up. And I'd also like to ask Alexandria Van Rensalier to come up, the great-great-granddaughter, and Colleen Van Rensalier, the great-granddaughter, to lead us into the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this point in the program, it's really apropos that we're talking about people that fought for freedom, fought for this, fought for that. But one of the greatest Patterson freedom fighters ever is here. I'd like to introduce, my pleasure, Congressman Bill Pascarello.
I want to thank you for that introduction, because I can remember, we can remember, when I was the mayor of this city, we started this, and it was a dream too. The Van Rensaliers are part of this town, whether they live here or not anymore, they're part of this town. So we're standing on sacred ground. We're standing here on these hallowed grounds in commemoration of Patterson's storied history. As soon as I'm done here, I'm already late down below. I gotta run down there to Washington, take care of those bad boys. We have a storied history, Patterson. You know this is American history. We've always known that our city and its people were a force for good. No one ever had to convince me. That's how many times I've lost a fight on the streets of the city. This is no more evident than through the work of Joshua, the white man, and William Van Rensalier, a former black slave. These brave individuals risked everything to help Southern slaves in their quest for freedom. Many of the specifics are lost to time. While many of those specifics may be lost, we do know that over 100,000 formerly enslaved women and men took the Underground Railroad in their march towards freedom. 7 years ago, Patterson recognized Joshua and William as historic figures who helped countless families throw off the shackles of slavery. We do know that. Today we continue that march with the installation of the historic Freedom Bell. The bell will be sounded today in recognition of those who helped create this sacred space. We ring this bell for those who came before us. We ring the bell who recognizes the work that all of us have done. Many times unrecognized. The great leaders of this city never made the front page. Many of them were phantom citizens. They didn't wish to be known. They just wanted to help make the place better. If we had more people today, Mayor, who felt that here, we'd save a lot of money and we'd get accomplished what we want to accomplish. We ring this bell because we know that there's more work to be done. Man, in the last 6 months I've been putting that in this country. Nothing will change your mind. Empowering our neighbors to live in this greatest of all nations. One of the most important things any of us can do. We look forward to standing together with you and to do the work in this city. One city, one community. I'm so honored to be here today. I had to change a lot of schedules to get here. People are cursing me out because I'm not where I'm supposed to be, but this is where I'm supposed to be here. I want to thank each and every one of you, most of you I do know, for what you've done. And nobody will ever know about it. True leadership is sounding the bell and not putting your name on a placard up over your head. That's not easy. We inhale the air of Washington. We inhale the air of City Hall. And we think we love it all. I got news for you. We are not. And please remember, after the bell is tolled, please remember when you leave this place that we would not be here except for the Rensaliers. The Rensaliers have given more to this city than any millionaire or billionaire. They meant what they said. And they were relentless. It's a good word, right?
Yes.
They were relentless. And I'm proud to be part of it. I still live here. I will end with this story because I thought of the veterans, and here's what had happened. The day after I was elected to Congress, folks in my neighborhood came to my house with fruit and plants to wish us good luck and to say farewell and don't forget us. And I said, are you throwing me out of the neighborhood? Don't you have to move? This is the mindset we've gotten into in this country. This is where I grew up. Those slaves were never slaves. And when you enslave people, you will pay the price eventually. God bless America, and God bless the Rensaliers, and God bless all the reminders of things past that are still true. Thank you for listening, and God bless and have a great day. Thank you.
Okay, at this time we're going to have a musical melody. Please do not stand because it's a little long. So enjoy those seats while you can. Thank you, Ronald Foster. Very great job. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce my sister, my good friend, Assemblywoman Chavonda Sumter.
Thank you. And I did not do that with this microphone. But to the board of directors for the Parking Authority, to our Parking Authority director, to our mayor, to each of you, I greet you in love. I want to thank the mayor for continuing this great historical mission work. I stand before you as the Assemblywoman and also chair of the New Jersey Legislative Black Caucus, where we are fighting to make sure that we have a reparations task force bill go before the General Assembly, the Senate, and for our governor to sign. New Jersey has a history that's steeped in slavery, that's steeped. We also have trails that not only include Patterson, but also include Cape May, and a port in Perth Amboy. We also have the first black voter in the state of New Jersey. What we're looking for, what we're seeking with the reparations bill, which means to repair, is to create policy changes that are intentional, transformational, and strategic to address the systemic and structural harms that have been caused to Black people in the state of New Jersey. So as you look at these monuments, and this has been a journey, I've come here as a youth for our Juneteenth celebration where we had a patch of dirt, but we still showed up for a patch of dirt to demark this very location that is sacred and hallowed ground. To the families that still live today, to tell the story over 400 years later of the trails that were blazed. That is why it's important for us to have a state repository of thought leaders, which would include the Huntoon and Van Rensalier family, sharing the truths that those of us and those babies born today do not know. In the African history and in a lot of other cultures, storytelling is powerful. And that's how we stay connected to our roots. And unveiling this Freedom Bell today reminds us that there was a price that was paid and lives that were lost and strong, courageous partners in this journey. So today I am honored to stand here, which was once a patch of dirt that we came to pay homage to now stand with beautiful plants before us, a gorgeous monument protected by wrought iron fence, maintained by the Parking Authority. And the history lives on because of volunteers such as Jimmy Richardson, who make sure that we celebrate our rich history and culture and partner to make sure that our truths are known and we will never forget. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. That was great. It's just not the people on one side, the people on the other side that made this part of the great. So I'd like now to introduce Assemblyman Gary Sher.
You get to follow them.
It's always so easy to follow Assemblyman Sumter. Right, that was a joke. Saying to myself, how do I start my remarks here? And decided to say that I work for her. You don't know. Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
ladies and gentlemen, in the shadow of America's largest sustained protest movement, our nation, state, and local communities continue to reckon with our shared histories, confronting past and present inequities that loom large in the lives of marginalized people. 402 years ago, the first enslaved Africans were brought to our shores, followed by Jim Crow, lynchings, redlinings, and massive incarcerations. Every small step towards progress followed by reactionary backlash. To make America whole, we must hold up a mirror to the racism that shapes the lives of our communities and loosens all the chains that still holds America down. Today we celebrate the expansion of a monument dedicated to those who fought to make the ideals of our Constitution real for everyone, regardless of their skin color. In the history of the Underground Railroad, we find the story of an America in an eternal struggle to fulfill the promises of universal freedom. We stand inspired by the example of women and men who worked for a better day. The Huntoon Van Rensselaer Underground Railroad Foundation helped to create a monument dedicated to Patterson's participation in the Underground Railroad in Huntoon's Corner. The monument includes Josiah Huntoon and William Van Rensselaer, who helped enslaved people on the road towards freedom. On this site, Huntoon's factory serves as a safe house for those fleeing enslavement. A lantern was placed in the safe house tower, letting others know it was a safe place to stop. Through Huntoon Van Rensselaer Underground Railroad Foundation, the addition of the 1871 bill will help mark the significance of New Jersey's history in the Underground Railroad. Dolores Van Rensselaer, William Van Rensselaer's great-granddaughter, has been instrumental in celebrating the history of Patterson, ensuring this monument to liberation is a beacon for all of us. Today we continue the work towards an aspirational America, which realizes the promises made in our founding documents. We continue to strive to make those promises true, even with those who have lived through inhumane bondage, through generations of segregation and exploitation, through a denial of their humanity and equality. Today we celebrate a freedom that truly extends to all people. The wrongs of the past will not prevent New Jersey from leading this nation into the future. Together we can replace systemic discrimination with systemic liberation. Maya Angelou said, "Love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination full of hope." Ladies and gentlemen, we stand pledged to a different America, pledged to the America that all of us were taught about, to make that into a reality. And this monument today does just that. We have it in our power to change this great country, to make it live to the dream that it truly wishes to be. It is a tremendous task, one that I follow my colleague in the Assembly and so many others and all of you. May God continue to bless this great country. May He make the dream that was in America the reality of the America we wish it to be. Thank you so much.
Great job. You got it done. You know, as the mayor was just telling me, he says, as much as we'd like to think the fight for freedom ends in Patterson, it doesn't. And he has a partner that helps him in that fight for freedom. So I'd like at this time to introduce the Passaic County Mayor, Mayor Laura.
County mayors, since we're on the same county. Mayor Singer.
Yes, sir.
It's always an honor to stay here with you, to all the members of the city council, elected officials, to the commissioners of the county, to state representatives, to the leaders in this community and in all of our communities, to our superintendent of schools who is here always in support, to Mr. Ron Van Rensselaer, champion every single day for his community, constantly making sure that we never forget the Huntoon family and all involved. Thank you for this privilege and honor to come here to speak about today and what today represents, what today means. I was considering as I was hearing the speeches that were shared that I am here of my own free will. I am not compelled to attend today. I am free. And I often take that for granted. I think many of us do, because that's what happens when there's progress. We forget those that had to sacrifice so much in order for us to enjoy this freedom that we have, this liberty that we enjoy. I considered as our most eloquent and amazing assemblywoman, Shavonda Sumter, has spoken about that trail that would blaze, and I thought, I wonder if the individuals that were blazing it knew that we would be here gathered today. I imagine they were so focused on becoming free and on ensuring that others would be free that they take time to pause and say, hundreds of years later, our ancestors, generations that will come, will be able to walk this same path freely, without fear or concern who may be behind them or where they are going. We take this for granted. I considered what it means that this bell was gifted and what a bell being rung represents. When bells are rung, it's usually a call. It tells us to come to something or to leave. I remember when I was in school and the bell rang and we were excited. We get to go. We are free for the day. That's right. That's right. We would be free. And I imagine that that's the reminder to all of us that when that bell rings, that the sound of the bell, that the image of the bell, that the very word itself compels us to remember that we have a call. A call, like Assemblyman Shayer stated, to fight to ensure that we will always have freedom, not just for us, but for those that come after us. To ensure that we work towards equality and equity, especially for those that we don't necessarily look like or whose experience we can't immediately relate to. Because when we ensure their freedom, their liberty, their progress, we secure our own. As I was sitting there, I was reminded that those individuals, so brave and courageous, those remarkable partners that came together to ensure that the sins of the past would not continue forward and remain sins of our present, that there would be change. I am reminded that every day, the echo and whispers of those who gave their lives continue forward, and those whispers tell us, never forget. Continue forward. As they were on that journey, and I imagine the adversities and obstacles that they faced, they had, with so much resiliency and commitment, had to keep going forward. Those whispers tell us, keep going. Don't forget, it's great that you have a monument. It's amazing that we have a ceremony, but the work continues. Keep going forward, because there's so much more to accomplish. I could go on, but I recognize that I am in my sister city, and with deference and much respect to our remarkable mayor here, I'm going to cut short and conclude there. That I hope that those whispers continue to echo and get amplified by every single one of us that have this amazing responsibility of enjoying platforms that we can make the message go farther. And as that continues to get amplified, we will ensure freedom, not just here, not just in our state, not just in our nation, but around the world. God bless you all. Thank you so very much.
Well, I want to first start with thanking Assemblywoman Sumter for making everyone step their game.
Right.
I just want to start there. And now, it's my pleasure to introduce Patterson City Council President, President Davalado.
Thank you very much. I don't have a lot of words to say after hearing the great speakers this afternoon, but I'd like to bring up my Councilwoman of the 4th Ward, Councilwoman at Large Dr. Mims, Councilwoman Ruby Cotton of the 4th Ward, Councilman Bellis of the 5th Ward, Councilman Mendez of the 3rd Ward. Did I miss anyone else? Anyone else? So what I'd like to say is, it just gives me great pleasure and honor to be standing here today. And as I stand here with my colleagues, We work on a day in, day out for the city of Patterson. And to be able to be here and unveil this bell means a lot because it's a reminder, it's history, but it's a reminder of the struggles that we go on, that continue to go on. To the Rensalier family, okay, we want to thank you so much for gifting the bell and having it stay in the home where it belongs. So thank you very much. Blessings to all. Thank you.
I'm her designated introducer. So ladies and gentlemen, the former mayor of the city of Patterson, current councilor from the 4th Ward, the Honorable Ruby N. Cotton.
First, give an honor to God. You know, it's truly a pleasure to be here. Let me say to all the elected officials, the Rensalier family, of keeping, as I say, the dream alive. We must always keep our ancestors alive in our lives to save the struggle that we have incurred. And I could say, standing here today, and I have tears in my eyes because I think about my life. I think about my life, working on a farm, sharecropping, being so hurt and tired. And then my uncle and my grandfather all made us happy. At the end of the day, they learned how to make us happy and forget about all the hard work we've done that day. So I think about that and I say, as an elected official, I try to do the same way, try to do the same things that I was taught. I was taught to care for people. And that's what it's about, caring for people. And I can say truly that it's not easy. You know, and I know my ancestors are watching and saying, look at my girl, Ruby. But my name was Nell back then in the day. But, you know, it's amazing that you can still, you know, I always say you keep God in your heart, you keep love in your heart, you can do so many things. There's so many obstacles that we cross that sometimes we jump over them. God put stuff in your path and you don't know that He put it there.
That's right.
He put something in there for you to achieve, for you to push for you to go for. And before I leave, I say, you know, and it's truly, I say, God bless me to be standing here with so many things that happened in the city of Patterson. I happened to be 12 years old when Dr. King came here in 1968.
Right.
I was able to put a park with Governor and Auburn Street. And I said, one day, visitors are going to come there to see that park.
Amen.
The last place he spoke before he was assassinated.
Right.
I can say that, God, you put me here for me to do good. And remember, we're on borrowed time. We're all on borrowed time. And we've got to make the best of what we can do now. And I'm going to end with this little story. And what I find is that I joined the National Council of Negro Women and said, take care of our children. I joined it because Mary McLeod Bethune and Dr. Dorothy Height said, take care of our children. So I go to the convention and have a chance to meet Andrew Young. And Andrew Young sat and told us it was Dorothy Height who picked Martin Luther King to be the leader. Everybody wanted to be it. Ralph Abernathy, Andrew Young, Malcolm X, they all wanted to be it. But Malcolm was the chosen one. And isn't that something that I want to say today on this celebration of the Freedom Day? October 19, 2021 is Freedom Day. We will never forget. We're going to always do that. And as long as I got breath and God keeps me strong, I'm going to continue. And I know everyone here today, I want to thank you all for coming out. Because you could have been somewhere else. But this is important,
Right.
that we keep this name going for everyone to know. 30 years from now, they're going to look on that brick and see the Cotton family down there. 30, 40 years from now. I may not be here, but it's going to be there. So to you all, the Rensalier family, I appreciate you all for doing everything that you've done to keep this going. I just had to share that with you today. God bless you all. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
You know, before we move on to the next speaker, I just would be remiss if I didn't mention 3 huge pioneers in the fight for freedom in Patterson. Former Councilwoman Vera Gaines, former freeholder Reese Evans, and former Councilwoman Mary Lee Jackson. Those who remember to say their names, they never be forgotten. At this time, since we're talking history, it's my pleasure to introduce the Director of the Historic Preservation Society, Jill Franco, architect.
Good morning, everyone. It's truly an honor and pleasure to be with you this morning. All these fabulous words that came before mine, I'll be very brief. I'm here to present greetings to all on behalf of the Preservation Commission. The Historic Preservation Commission was established as soon as the state law was available in the state of New Jersey in 1988 for municipalities to engage and create one. And in 1991, just a few years after 1988, its establishment, the Patterson Municipal Council passed our first locally designated historic sites. And it included a list of about 10 sites that we're all very familiar with. City Hall, the Passaic County Courthouse, with these very, very beautiful public buildings, St. John's Cathedral, the list goes on, for example. It was a few years later, as the Preservation Commission was getting more established as part of the, as a legal entity in the city of Patterson, that nomination came forward for a historic site. And this was a nomination for this site. And the community came out in a great way. This was the year 1996 that this happened. The Rensalier family was a part of it. We have also others who are not here today, like Dr. Flavia, who was actually the chairwoman of the Preservation Commission at the time, that really fought hard to bring this site to be a designated historic site in the city of Patterson. The Preservation Commission is a part of the city's ordinance, its land use ordinance, that's actually voluntary. And I wanted to just take a moment today to point out how important it is for a community to be able to establish its sites of importance and significance to its community. And this was the first designated site where the community came together to actually put this on the rolls, and it's been on the rolls all this time. So I wanted to add this part to the story. On behalf of today's commissioners, I'd like to present greetings. I'd like to also make a shout out to Jimmy Richardson, who's been one of our greatest partners. Thank you very much. And our city council members who are here today, those who have been known me personally for such a long time that live in Patterson. Thank you for all of your support. These are the wonderful events that we all like to come out to celebrate not only our heritage, our struggles, our future, but also our investments. So thanks to the Huntoon family, the Rensalier family. A shout out also to my colleague Tim Henderson for helping with the bell. Just a couple words about the bell. So we tried really hard to find some of the background on the bell. And we know that the bell, many of you will remember this, many of you have been here much longer than I, and I put a call out to all of you. If you have a memory about the bell being dedicated at Overlook Park near the falls many years ago, I'm thinking it's around the bicentennial, 1970s. If you attended that event or you have a memory of it, please let us know. We have lost this story to our history here, and we're not sure where the bell came to the city from and was dedicated and was there for many years, where thousands and thousands of children and people have rung the bell and have made, it was really a main attraction. When you parked at the parking lot to see the falls, you would be able to ring the bell. Jimmy Richardson, I want to thank you for coming to the Preservation Commission with the idea of relocating the bell, because everyone knows in 2017 and 18 we rehabbed Overlook Park, and the bell needed to be relocated, needed to find a new home. So we stored it away, and this was a great opportunity for the bell to be rededicated here. this wonderful day dedicated proclamation of our marriage freedom. So this is really a fabulous event for posterity, and was really wonderful to have this bell here in perpetuity. And when you see the bell in a little while, I'm going to be charged with the Preservation Commission's help to continue its installation. We're going to go ahead and rehabilitate it, and that includes the bronze parts and also the metal parts, and get it permanently sort of situated here on this wonderful base that was provided by the Patterson Department of Authority. So with that, I bid you adieu. Have a wonderful day, and thank you again very much.
You know, I was reminded again why it takes a village, because please charge to my head and not my heart. I forgot another great freedom fighter in Patterson, Dr. Jesse Dixon. At this time, I'd like to, I see Freeholder Bartlett over there. Can you please come up and give us a few words on behalf of the freeholders?
We're commissioners now, not freeholders. That's all right. Speaking of the weight of history, and the word freeholder. That's enough to. I don't know. Your program says freeholder, Mr. T.J. Bennett. I don't know what T.J. was going to say, but it's probably not this. I trace my heritage in this country back to the Mayflower. And I know well that somewhere in those 15 generations between William Brewster, the elder of the Plymouth colony, and myself, there were surely people who were part of denying some of the ancestors of those here that promise that we all spoke at the beginning of this ceremony for all. And I received my education at Brown University, named for the largest and most successful and most prominent and wealthy Providence, Rhode Island family of slave traders. So that history and the history that we get to learn about here is bound up very, very tightly together in, I think, what Dr. King spoke of as that single garment of American destiny. Or we can think of it as together in a melody, and Mr. Foster, I don't know where he went, but what a remarkable job of combining Lift Every Voice and the Star Spangled Banner into a shared melody that reflects a shared history. And across all of those generations, the 15 between me and the Mayflower, and the generations of heritage that all of us bring here, each generation is called to answer a question: who will we be as individuals and as a community and as a nation? And it's so good to be standing here asking that question, because we have in front of us a really, really good answer. Let us be Huntoons and Rensaliers together. And as this bell echoes in our ears as we go away from this place, let us make that promise of liberty and justice for all more real every day. Thank you.
As we call out names of freedom fighters, Alonzo, Tambora, Moody, I get finished. At this particular time, that's why we're here. The unveiling of the bell. I have Mayor Sayre, Jimmy Richardson, and the board. Please come over and unveil the bell.
2. Come on. Ernie, you're in the way of my witness good. I don't care. 1, 2, 3.
Jimmy, don't ring that bell just yet. Hold on a second. We're still recovering. Yeah. Since we've been acknowledging freedom fighters, I want to take point of personal privilege to see him in the back. Descendant, Eastside High School Hall of Famer, City of Patterson Hall of Famer, Dale Skip Van Rensalier.
That's right.
My best friend and the worst Dallas Cowboys fan I ever met. Thank you.
You know, now seeing the bell, I think it would be at this time, it's very fitting that our historian comes up here and says a few words. Jimmy, can you come on up and speak to us?
Good morning, everyone. God has granted me a scholarship of purpose, and my education has been on my platform has been about the city of Patterson, and it has to do with discovery and rediscovery of the African American presence here in town. I got started because our history is most certainly recorded, but it is most certainly in the margins of other people's history, and my job has been to bring it forward. In 2019, the United States of America celebrated the 400th anniversary of 1619. And Darren Bach, the superintendent of the Great Falls, was kind enough to ask me to host the National Bell Ringing, or one of the sites, at the Great Falls, which I was most certainly honored. After that ceremony took place, I spoke to Darren Bach and also spoke to John Franco Archimedes about moving that bell. John Franco told a little history about where it was, moving that bell here. And I thought it would be a tribute and a fitting place for it to be. Most of you can't see it, but underneath your feet in some places, it's let freedom ring. And now we have the Freedom Bell. For those who don't know the true name of this monument, the true artistic name is On the Wings of Freedom. It was sculpted, and the architect was Ed Dwight out of Colorado, and he did a fantastic and wonderful job. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my job to encourage you to help me give you my best. And giving you my best has to do with you asking me questions, putting forth questions that would force me to answer, to rediscover Patterson history. The Freedom Bell is not just about the African American community. The Freedom Bell is about all communities. Let freedom ring is what Dr. King stole. It's what he said. What he said in 1963 in Washington. He said, let freedom ring. And if you get an opportunity to go back to that speech, just in reading it, it is most certainly dynamic. Thank you very much.
At this point, it's my pleasure to introduce, and let me just say a few words about her. I just happen to have it right here. Dolores M. Van Rensselaer Warren, born in New York, but raised in San Diego, discovered at age 17 she had hidden African American ancestry. She made an immediate moral choice to leave home to openly honor her hidden African American ancestry and to search for her hidden black roots. After years of her extensive research, she not only documented her biracial ancestry, DNA 50.6% white and 44.3 black, she discovered her hidden great-grandfather, William P. Van Rensselaer, was a black engineer and black Underground Railroad agent at his friend abolitionist Josiah Huntoon's home in Patterson, New Jersey. In 1994, to save the then Underground Railroad vacant lot, her essay, Bridge Street to Freedom, later a book in 2017, helped preserve the Huntoon Van Rensselaer Underground Railroad site. In 2004, she became the founder and president of the nonprofit Huntoon Van Rensselaer Underground Railroad Foundation, leading the board to help fund the Huntoon Van Rensselaer Underground Railroad Monument, completed in 2014. It features over 181 personalized bricks from across the nation and now has a perpetuity 1871 historic value. Dolores' professional experience includes the City of Los Angeles Department of Recreation, Parks, and Community Development Department, the Watts Labor Community Action Committee, and the New Jersey State Council for the Blind. She authored Bridge Street to Freedom in 2017 and is presently writing Hidden Roots, a biracial memoir. She holds a BA in English from California State University at Los Angeles and postgraduate study in public administration. She has received myriad accolades since 1973, including over 40 community, state, and national awards, 4 awards for authorship, and 4 2019 Marquis Who's Who in America honored inductions. Happily married since 2009 to Dr. John E. Warren, she has Michael and Latanya West grown children by a previous marriage. Her saying, "The soul has no color. It's the soul's character God will judge each of us by." Please help me introduce and bring up to the stage Dolores M. Van Rensselaer.
This is a very historic day in New Jersey's history. Today is officially Freedom Day, given to us by Mayor Seha. By this proclamation you are holding in your hands. As president, on behalf of the Huntoon Van Rensselaer Board, I'd like to thank all those many who help us bring this rare historic bell here. Jimmy Richardson. 2 years ago, Jimmy calls me up and tells me he has an historic bell that he wants to place at this site. This is on behalf of the Van Rensselaer Underground Railroad Foundation to public historian Jimmy Richardson. In appreciation for your Huntoon Van Rensselaer Underground Railroad Monument Historic Bell Contribution, October 19, 2020. The Pattern Historic Preservation Commission. You see, like myself, Jimmy really didn't do this all by himself, but he was persevering for 2 years. You've already heard Mr. Archibald. Need I say more? The Patterson City Council, very, very key and very important, and we appreciate that. The Patterson Parking Authority, Tony. Tony has a history here from, from 19, well, let's just say 2014 when this site was unveiled itself. We talked almost every day, didn't we? Yes, we did. So he also helped put this together. Thank you so much, Tony. U.S. Congressman Bill Pascarello, who was the mayor while all this was going on. We thank him very much. And our own mayor, Andre Sayed. Is that correct? Okay. This is a historic day. The 1871 historic bell is the only bell at an Underground Railroad site throughout the whole state of New Jersey. It is the first day this bell will ring at this historic Underground Railroad site. Let me read to you how important this historic bell's symbolism is. Whereas, right here, okay, whereas a freedom bell was first rung marking the end of the Civil War. Whereas the freedom bell at the Huntoon and Rensalier Underground Railroad site symbolizes the Emancipation Proclamation, 13th, 14th, and 15th constitutional amendments. It's pretty heavy, isn't it?
Yes.
The historic bell is about to ring here, right here, under your feet. Escaping slaves were once safely hidden in the cellars, right under your feet. Just below you on this brave way to freedom, their brave way to freedom. Over 27 people from right here in Patterson and from across our nation have donated memorial bricks of loved ones who have left us their generation's legacy, their generation's triumph over oppression. This is an historic day. The bell is about to ring, honoring this symbolic legacy of freedom from oppression. I am the great-granddaughter of abolitionist William Van Rensalier. Both he and abolitionist Josiah Huntoon lived their legacy of transcending race. I honor them both as the bell will ring. Jimmy Richardson, let the historic bell begin ringing, honoring these abolitionists and all these shoulders we stand on here in this circle. Von Van Rensselaer and Alexandria Van Rensselaer, let the sacred name calling begin. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ron Van Rensalier, and I am the great-great-grandson of William. And with me is my niece, Alexandra, who is the great-great-great-granddaughter of William. We will begin together reading the names of freedom fighters throughout Patterson. Let's give a shout out and applause to
the two biggest freedom fighters that started in the 1800s, William and Josiah.
1813 through 1891. Abolitionist Josiah Huntoon.
1836 to 1904, honoring abolitionist William Van Rensselaer.
Honoring all the soldiers we stand on.
Honoring the Vera Ames Barnes ancestors.
Tyrone Balmer.
Jeffrey Balmer.
5 ancestors of Antoinette Brevard's queens.
The Pascarello family ancestors.
The Cotton family ancestry.
1947 to 2020, Edward L. Cotton.
LaShawn Devereaux.
1859 visit to Patterson, Frederick Douglass.
The Galashaw family ancestry.
John H. Goodlett.
Walter Lee Haywood.
Bernard Jones family ancestry.
Denise Livingston.
The Newton family ancestry.
Let Freedom Ring, Bill Pascarello Jr.
Gerna and Lucille Poe family ancestry.
Municipal Judge Carol P. Newton ancestors.
In honor of all escaping slaves, rest in God's peace, Grossman family.
Dr. Stephen and Alexia Rose ancestors.
All escaping slaves, rest in peace, the Rubin family.
The Ann Scott ancestors.
Damon Wilder.
Thank you.
We thank you for coming, and just before we have our benediction, I'd like to call up the Huntoon Van Rensselaer Foundation. Dr. Stephen Rose. Yes. And great grandson of William Van Rensselaer, Ron Van Rensselaer, the vice president. Thank you all.
Before we go, I'd like to acknowledge a couple of people that came and showed up for us. Richard Fernandez, the business administrator, city of Passaic. Lou Amardio, please forgive me, business administrator, Passaic Valley Water Commission. Sandra Neodent, superintendent of schools, city of Passaic. Yakub Risman, Passaic school attorney. Once again, I want to thank everybody for taking time and working. You came back at your time. You chose to spend it with us. We appreciate it. At this time, Reverend Maven, will you please come up? Give the benediction.
Prophet Micah asks, what does the law require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and walk humbly before God. Gracious God, as we feel the vibrations of the bells ringing, may it propel us to act. Freedom may reign until all oppression and injustice is abandoned, until all the isms are reconciled, until justice flows. I pray that the words we have heard will empower us to act, to love, to walk humbly with you. And your grace be with us until we gather again. Let us all say amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for Pastor Bishop Maven and for the Master of Ceremonies, Commissioner Dwayne Cox. Got up before 2 o'clock. We've just been joined. I want to acknowledge Dr. Joseph Fulmore. Give him a round of applause. Thank you, Dr. Fulmore. And I've been informed, Dr. Rose, thank you. There is a reception that will follow at the courtyard at Passaic County Community College. Let freedom ring. Thank you.